Welcome to this video. I'm gonna show you how to use trans tape, how to apply it, how to remove it, the benefits, the negatives. There are basically no negatives. Let's get started. First things first, how do you know what trans tape to use? There are different trans tape brands. I used one from Wivov, but there are other ones to choose from. You can also use regular, I forget what it's called. Wait. Kinesiology tape, which is basically used for muscles. However, since it's safe for the skin, a lot of people use it as trans tape, and I did that for like my first year of trans taping. So yeah, it does work. It is cheap. However, it's very rough and it's very thick and it's not very stretchy. For some reason, I feel like it's also kind of itchy when you wear it after a while. And since it's not very wide, you do need, I use 2 of these, but if you have a bigger chest, you would need like 3 or 4 maybe to cover up the whole chest, which can be annoying. With actual trans tape, however, they're a lot wider. As you can see, the fabric is much softer and thinner and stretchier. Plus, with Wivov, you get some nipple covers. What I used to use before this was just like a cotton pad, which is also annoying and hassle to apply, and this is much simpler and not that much more expensive. Now, how do you apply it? First, we're gonna get undressed. All right, first things first, we have to make sure that the skin is clean and also completely dry. So don't apply the tape right after moisturizing or right after taking a shower or sweating. Otherwise, the tape will not stick. Ooh, there's a window right behind the camera and I'm just standing here. And we live on the bottom floor. First things first, I'm gonna cut up 2 pieces of the tape. Since this one is so stretchy, the pieces don't have to be very long. But try and see what works best for you, and then by these lines, you can kind of remember how much you usually take. And this tape in particular is a little bit too wide for me because I have a smaller chest, so I'm gonna cut the piece is a little bit smaller. And then it's important to cut around the edges so that the edges are not sharp. That way it won't start to like peel off while you're wearing it. Alright, now that we have our pieces cut up, we're gonna apply the nipple covers. So this is what they look like. Like I said, if you don't have nipple covers, you can use a little cotton pad, and since it's a little bit thick, I usually peel it in half. And then if you have a little bit smaller nipple, you can just cut it up to a smaller size, take a bit of lotion and smack it on the nipple. But using that for a full year and now using these, it's so much faster and easier. But the cotton pads are a good alternative. Just gonna put it on. So nipple covers are on, now we're gonna apply the tape. So first, try and see where you want it to sit, and try to feel like, okay, how am I gonna pull this? Because it kind of depends on what your chest looks like. I like to put mine a little bit lower. That way I can pull back and down slightly. Because if I have it higher, then there's still gonna be a little bit of a like bump underneath. So we're gonna open it a little bit like this, and then just place it kind of where I wanted it to be. Then I'm gonna use this to pull, and as I'm pulling, I'm making sure that the tape is sticking, and back, and back, and back, and then just like so. There we go. Now same on the other side. A very common question I get is, can you use trans tape if you have a bigger chest? Yes, you can. However, you'll probably need a bigger piece of tape. Then it also will probably not become super flat. But trans tape is supposed to be able to replace a binder, and it's not recommended to use trans tape and a binder at the same time because that kind of counts as double binding and using 2 binders, which you don't want to do. For me, it took a while to find a good technique and a good way to pull and a good direction and everything. But yeah, now I'm all done. Now I can wear it for 3 to 5 days, kind of depending on what I do while wearing it. Like if I'm working out and sweating, then it might start to peel off a little bit more. But usually I'm able to wear it for like 5 days. And yes, you can shower with it. You can take a bath with it. You can go swimming with it. You can do basically anything with it. You can work out. This one also dries a lot faster, I've noticed, since it's thinner. It can be a little bit uncomfortable having something wet to your skin a few hours after having a shower. But yeah, now I'm all done. All right, we're back. When you're removing the tape, you need to use oil. Trust me, I've been there, just ripping it right off your skin, and it will hurt and it will leave marks. When you apply with oil, I'm telling you, if you do it the right way, it will not hurt and it will not leave any wounds. If you've been itching a lot while wearing the tape, then it might have a little bit of soreness. If that's the case, just put some lotion afterwards and let it heal. Yeah. All right, so I've only been wearing the tape for 2 days, but since I want to finish this video, we're gonna do it now. It's just a little bit looser now, but it hasn't started to like peel off yet. Also, I have some marks on my stomach, and that's just, my skin is so sensitive, it even reacts to my own sweat. But yeah, I also have an eczema skin condition that makes me itch all the time, like around my eyes and on my face and just basically everywhere, which is really annoying. Moving on. All right, fuck is that? All right, so I'm just gonna start. Wait, it's not open. It has basically 2 lids. I'm just gonna start covering the tape with the oil. Usually I have 2 hands for this. Oh, my back. It's gonna get darker and darker, and you will start to see the nipple cover coming through. You can also put it in your hand and then just rub it in. Make sure that you get all of the edges. Usually I do this in the bathroom. You can do it in the bathtub even. There are also different techniques. Since I have a small chest, this is how I do it. I will leave some links down below with tutorials if you have a bigger chest. I would say trans tape is better than using a binder. First of all, it doesn't compress your organs and you can breathe normally. It's not as warm like in the summer. If you're working out, you can move normally. If you do it correctly, then it will be completely safe. Now I'm really fucking oily. I'm gonna wash my hands and let this soak in for like 10 minutes or so. It's been 10 minutes, let's rip it off. Kind of pull inwards with your fingers so that the oil is helping a little bit more. If there starts to be a little bit of resistance, like right here, I'm just gonna use some more oil. If you have some residue from the glue, I just leave it and then eventually it'll come off and then just like take it off in the shower. Or you can just peel it off, use some oil. All right, we're all done. I have no wounds, no blisters, nothing like that. Now I'm gonna let my skin rest for like a day until I apply new tape. It kind of depends on how much time you feel like your skin needs to rest. But if you have some wounds for some reason, wait until they heal up completely. I will have the link in my description. And don't forget to leave a like if this video was helpful in any way, and I will hopefully see you soon.